What's up, everybody? It is Matt from Electric All Wheel. We are back from break. Had a good vacation. Hope you all did too. We picked up the Aventon Sinch 1 from Best Buy in those super deals while Best Buy was trying to clear out the warehouse of the existing e-bikes. We like this step-through model for the Aventon Sinch, and without adding any of the accessories, the rack or any baskets or anything else, we want to get a second battery on here. We've done a red Sinch before, but we're coming back to this, and we are going to add the electric all-wheel dual battery discharge balance kit, the 40 amp kit with the XT60s, and we do have the bullet connectors just in case this is one of the original models. We are going to try and use the bike case bottle cage straps that are 2-inch wide straps that go around the frame here. Because the battery is here, we want something that will strap around and then have enough friction to hold it in place. I have high hopes for this. We will be using a Second Downtube battery. We'll leave a link for this in the description of the video below. It does have an XT60 connector, and we haven't tested any of this, so you're gonna go along for the ride with us, but I do have high hopes. With this cage strap adapter, you're gonna have to get some shallower head screws so that the screw or the battery will slide over the screw in the plate. You'll see what I mean when we get to the installation. We do have the 48 volt 10 amp hour battery that we generally use, so if you have a rear rack, it's a good spot for this. This is just a very convenient battery, especially if you have multiple e-bikes. I love having this thing around, easy to switch back and forth all over the place, and that's why you see it all over our channel. For all you who are wondering about the range, we will have that at the end of the video. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe. YouTube is our primary, and if you're in the area, e-bikes of Tampa Bay, Florida, I can't wait for others to see this bike, because by the time we're done, it's gonna be great. We're putting a rack on here, fenders, we're gonna put some hydraulic brakes on here, we're gonna get a second battery on it. It's gonna be a whole new bike, and hopefully we will still maintain enough room to go ahead and get that step-through fashion. So, e-bikes of Tampa Bay, Florida, if you're in the area, get in that Facebook group, make an event, and go for a ride with your e-bike friends. Here we go. Now, you guys know that we've done a lot of electric bikes, and one of the differences here is this cable setup. On all the Aventons that we've done like this, it's been really tight through here, so you guys got to keep that in mind. We do appreciate the fact that they're moving towards the concealment of the wires, so that's nice. Feels like we're gonna have to go ahead and take the motor wire loose so that we can show you just what the controller looks like. And then all I'm doing is just pushing that slack into the motor housing so that I can pull the controller out. Perfect. So you can see it. The controller has a 22 plus or minus 1 amp current limit, so we are using the 40 amp balancer, not the 20 amp, and then it's a 48 volt controller, so perfect for that. So we know that fits, but there is a lot of wiring that has to go in there as well. So we've got this on the side, and I think we will try and either hold the controller up to the top of the body and try and feed the wiring underneath as it was, and then make those connections and then close it up. Actually, this rolled over the top, so that's really nice too. So now we have, so that's great. There we go. So you can see this. It just laid flat inside the housing. So we put it in and then turn it like this, and then it actually fits inside the wide body of the housing, like so. So we're gonna try that. Also XT60, so good news there. So this should be pretty painless, we're hoping. What we're gonna do is just gonna go ahead and undo that connection. We do need to get our second battery cable out. So we're just going to take one of these cables. We don't need the bullet adapter that I grabbed. It is important to recognize that the battery inputs on these are the female connector for XT60, so you need this end of the cable to come into the housing so that it can plug in like so. There is an opening in the bottom here, and all I'm going to do is just push this through and then grab a hold of it. There we go. So now I'm going to put that on an input for a battery, because we know that that's going to be our second battery. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug this connector in, because that is our first factory battery. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug this one in, because that's controller out. So we've taken the factory connection, split it between the balancer, and then put a cable into here. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we want to follow basically the alignment and the way it came out. So we know that this was on the side of the body, so we're going to try and match that orientation. And then we're going to try and untangle this weave just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here first. We know that it's going to slip down the side, and then I'm just going to turn it flat. And then the controller underneath it. There we go. Now the balancer is over the top. Now it's just a matter of getting the wires back. So don't forget that you pulled slack for the motor cable. So we're going to pull that in. That takes care of one of them. We're going to go ahead and push the power cables in, and then the rest of the cables. And then we have them bunched like so. Here we go. And then this is the orientation on the plate. There's that. You guys, it's a good idea to test it before you go in, and I did test it. I know it's gonna work, so I didn't show you that, but test it before you close this thing up. And all you have to do is plug it in. You don't need the second battery. You just need to make sure you've got a connection going and you get power to your display. Second battery connection. This is gonna throw an error because we have not hooked up the motor cable, but we know we have power. Perfect. Now there are two flat sides on here, and they both have arrows, and that's how you're supposed to line them up. So make the arrows face one another and then just plug it in. And then I will get a zip tie and clean up this connection. Now we're going to take these bottle cage adapters and these are the long strap versions. Perfect. There we go. And then I have my Downtube battery, and I just want to take my mount. Here's where we're at. So these screws are going to sit too high inside this plate, so you got to get a different M5 to fit here. And we went to Ace and got these bad boys. There you go. Looks like about 9 millimeters long on the thread depth. And we don't even know if that's going to work. We just have them. So what I do know is I want my strap orientation to be the same for both, so just keep that in mind. On this one, I'm just gonna lay this down and then loosely tighten just a couple, just enough so it catches. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and get them both tightened down. So probably want 10 or more millimeters in length if I'm being ideal, but you don't want to go too long because you don't want to be longer than the body of the strap. For the second one, we're only going to use one of these screws, and it's going to be this one. We're going to take this out and leave it out. And again, I'm just making sure that my strap orientation, so the strap is on this side. I'm going to do the same for this. And then I'm just reusing the screw that it came with. Just making sure it's centered. Get it nice and tight. There we go. And this is our look. There it is. Quite nice. That'll fit over the fold. Okay, I'm pleased with that. I'm gonna go ahead and undo this And then we're gonna take it off for just a moment so we can demonstrate that the battery is actually working. So here's our setup. I'm just gonna plug it in while it's down on the ground here. And then check for power. Make sure that it's on. Perfect. No error. We already plugged in the motor, so we should be good to go. I might be able to give this just enough of a lift. Let me go ahead and put it in PAS 1. Just enough of a lift so that you can see that the external battery is powering it. Perfect. There we go. We are pleased with that. This does conclude the testing. We're now gonna try and button this up and make it look pretty so you can see the finished product with the second battery. Just gonna unplug this. So right now I'm just plugging in the XT60. And watch this. I'm just gonna lift from this battery. So this is the strength of the straps. They're doing all right. I'm not particularly worried about them. The mobility aspect is there. They have a really good friction setting on this bike, so there's not much slippage, and then the straps have some friction to them as well. All you diehards who are in the game for the extension know that this is worthwhile and it's easy to remove. That doesn't do much for you for theft, but just undoing a couple straps and then tossing this in the bag and taking it with you is going to be a lot easier than trying to mount up something that doesn't necessarily fit when you don't have the accessories for it, like a rear rack or any kind of front basket. This is a perfect application. Now I'm going to take my Bigfoot and run it through here so that you can see that the step through works. Perfect. I wear a size 15. Well, there you have it. We have now completed an Aventon Cinch dual battery with a down tube battery and straps, so there is no excessive modification to the bike. We are really happy about that. So what I'm gonna do is tell you about the Micah Toll constant. Micah Toll is an accomplished author and the e-bike god for our times, and he says it's 25 watt hours per mile ridden. The Aventon Cinch has a 14 amp hour battery, so what we're going to do is 48 volts times 14 equals 672 divided by 25 equals 26 miles. So that means that factory conditions, this bike is going to have 26.88 miles at 20 miles an hour throttle only. This battery is a 15 amp hour battery, so we're going to go ahead and do that math. 14 plus 15, 29 times 48 equals 1,392 divided by 25 watt hours per mile, and you get 55.68 miles with the addition of this 15 amp hour battery. If I've gotten this amp hour wrong, just reduce that math or increase it, but I'm pretty sure this is a 15 amp hour. We will leave a link for this battery in the description below, along with the bottle cage mounts and some screws. You don't need to get those, just make sure you have the specs. Go to your local Ace and get a hold of those. Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. You know where to get them. And then make sure that those screws are able to be fit inside the mounting bracket so the battery can slide right over the head of them. The 40 amp balancer does the trick. It does fit inside. We use one cable, which is really awesome. We really like the fact that you guys are here with us checking out this video. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. It is our primary, and if you are in the Tampa Bay area, e-bikes of Tampa Bay, Florida, get in that Facebook group, make an event, and go for a ride with your e-bike friends. Check out some of the videos in our catalog. We are going to try and get some hydraulic brakes on this thing. We will add the fenders and the rear rack. We got those coming in from Eugene, Oregon. That's where they're coming from. So we really appreciate those guys for helping us out. We will talk to you next time.